Today might just be the most important episode that we do of this podcast. Today, we're going to go into how to have a great training session. What goes into it? What happens before the session? What happens during? And what happens after the session? We're going to go through a few key categories on how you can maximize those to ensure that you have a great training session. Most of the time, when you go into the nets, your club training, the gym, a running session, etc. I think it's pretty obvious to say that the more good training sessions that you bank, the better player you are going to be. It is as simple as that. And high performance and playing well doesn't happen because of what happens on the weekends during the season. The reason why you play well is because of all the training sessions that you've had and all the games that you've had, your past experiences. You've built up this skill set and then you've gone out and performed on game day. So essentially, the best players in the world are the ones that have had the best training sessions, the most best training sessions, and have got the most out of them. I think it's important to set the boundaries, set the scene for what a good training session is. And that's going to look different for everyone. For some people, it might be, did you have fun? And that is an absolute fantastic way to measure it, and an underrated way to measure how good was cricket today? Did you have fun? That's something that we can go into in another podcast, but I think a lot of people don't focus on that as much as they should, and it's probably the most important thing of all time. We play cricket to have fun. So I think a good training session, you want to have a bit of fun. The second thing is, if you're looking to get the most out of yourself when it comes to cricket, is did you get better from that training session? And how much you got better from that training session is a good determining factor to whether that was a good training session or not. Was that a productive training session or not? My personal point of view, based on my experiences, is that there's so many cricketers out there doing a lot of training volume, but there's not too many cricketers out there getting better from their training. And there's a lot of key distinguishing factors for that, which we'll go into today on why that happens. But I think it's important, if this is you go to the nets 5, 6, 7 days a week, but you're not seeing the improvement at all, then it's not the volume of training that you're doing. You don't need to train more, but potentially you might need to implement some of these things in that we're going to talk about today to make your training sessions more productive and better. Because I personally think that the amount of volume of training that you need to actually get better is less than what you're doing right now. And that is the same for everybody watching this video, this podcast, that you could be doing less training, but you could be getting better from less training. I think that's a really good mental framework to have. And it's something that I like to use with myself a lot too, is like, there's someone doing less than you who is producing more work, or is getting better results in business, or whatever it is. And the same goes to cricket. There's always somebody doing less who is getting more results or better results. And that's a nice way to stay sort of humble, measured, but also, think about, okay, is there a better way I could be approaching this? And I'll make this same video, this same podcast next year, and I would have learnt things. I would not value things anymore, and I'll be forever evolving. And this will be a different show a year from now, because I'm a different person, different experiences. I will work with a lot more athletes. Hopefully, you, and if you are interested in pretty much training like a professional cricketer without being a professional cricketer and taking your game to the next level, then I have links down below to join my coaching, both in person in Melbourne and online, wherever you are in the world. And we're getting some elite results right now with some of my clients at the moment, which is awesome. Boys, girls, people in season, out of season, it's going elite. So if that's something you want to be a part of and you want to, join the movement, I suppose, and start taking cricket seriously and your physical preparation seriously, then the link is down below to join my coaching. Let's get into it. This is some of the stuff that I work with my athletes. Let's talk about how to have a great training session. And a great training session starts before the session, which I'm hoping that you know that already. And to be fair, when I was playing cricket at a pretty good level, like for state juniors and that, I didn't really think about this at all. I had no idea about pre-session preparing and things like that. I just sort of rock up to training, just hope that training went well. If only I knew the stuff that, if only I listened to this podcast 5-10 years ago, would have been a whole lot better player. So, for me back in the day, being a kid and all that sort of stuff, you sort of just go through the motions and just rock up the training and get your bag out of the car and you sort of just start bowling and, expect to bowl well. And sometimes you would because, I was bigger than everyone else or stronger than everyone else or a bit more talented than everyone else. But as you get up the levels and then as, being from the country, you probably start working training with some kids that are, in their private school setups or they're a bit more affluent and you get their parents and their environments are probably maybe a bit more high performance based and they've had coaches from a young age and they sort of know their stuff a bit earlier. But it took me a long time to realise, a good training session starts before you get there. So let's talk about that. A good training session must have a plan. You must go into training understanding what exactly you're going to do. And most importantly, what are you going to get better at? As I said before, a good productive training session is a training session that you improve from. So it's important to write down or take a mental note, notes on your phone, whatever it is. Write down what are you going to get better at from this session. And the more specific, the better. Don't just say, I'm going to get better at batting. Are you? Are you really? Do you really think that, let's say, $1 million on the line, you need to go and get better at batting? Do you write down something very vague like that? Probably not. You say, I'm gonna work on my shape and I'm not squaring up to forward defense balls. I'm gonna work on scoring behind point today because that's been something where I just haven't been able to do it. I'm going to work on coming in the wicket against spinners and putting pressure on them in the first 2 balls of an over. Something tangible. This is where it comes down to you knowing your game and knowing what you need to do, what level do you need to unlock to then take yourself to the next level and then work on those things. If you feel like you're getting bogged down against spin and they're putting heat on you, then it might be worth to go in there and practice singles against spin. It might be worth learning how to hit boundaries against spin. Same thing for bowlers. If you're getting smacked to death, then it might be worth practicing your slow balls or your variations or field settings, trialing field settings in the nets, which we'll go into later on. Be really specific. Understanding exactly what you want to get better at from your sessions and then write down how you're going to do it. What's the plan? How is this goal going to come into fruition? It's up to you. You want to go into that session with complete clarity on exactly what you're going to do, what you're going to get better at, because this allows you to then reflect afterwards. How did you go? The goal of this, as I said before, is clarity. You want crystal clear clarity. Next, physical point of view. If you have identified a couple of big training sessions for the week, some main sessions that you want to be at your best for, then managing your training load throughout the week is so important. You don't want to have an almighty big running session the day before you have the most important net session of the week. You don't want to be absolutely cooked and sore from doing a massive lower body gym day if you need to go bowl 10 overs the next day. So just being really smart around load management and putting your right training sessions in the right part of the week. That is an absolute key. I like using the high-low training method, where essentially we're putting our high load days, our high stress days, our high fatiguing days on the same day. And what I mean by that is, let's say we do our bowling, our main bowling session. We'll also probably do gym on the same day as that, our lower body weights, with our power, with our sprinting. And then that means that it's very rare you'll have, another skill session the next day. That's really important. So then the next session will probably be a bit cruisier. And then the day after that, you'll be ready to go back into some high intensity days. It's like an undulating way of balancing your workload. Some big, heavy days, followed by some smaller, lesser days. And the goal is going into your training sessions, the most important ones, in the right physical readiness to attack the day, to attack the session. That's what you want. You want to be in a position where you're not gassed, you're not fatigued, you're ready to go in and attack the session hard. Physical readiness, I just mentioned that. It's not just your overall load management as well. Typically, we're training in the afternoon, so don't be a slob during the day. Just do not be a slob during the day. Get moving, get active, try and get 6, 8, 10,000 steps before your training session. We've all been there. We've done nothing all day. We've just sat at the computer working, or we've been at school, and how hard is it to get yourself going to get the training? Mentally, physically, it's so tough. If you're sitting around all day, it's going to be almost impossible for you to get up and going for a good session. So, in your lunch break at work, go for a walk. Before work, go for a walk, or if you are doing gym that day, do that. Get yourself going. It's very hard to just turn the motor on at the end of the day when you've been on cruise control, when you've been in low power mode the whole day. It's very, very hard to get going. Get yourself going, get yourself sharp, and away you go from there. Fueling. Is there energy in your body? That is probably, the most important thing. If you wanted to go and race an F1 car around the Monaco Grand Prix or the Italian Grand Prix, which I'm actually going to in September, which I cannot wait for, you better believe it that these big companies are not putting shit fuel, the 91 unleaded that I'm putting in my Honda, they're not putting that in these absolute beast of the cars, the Ferraris, the McLarens. Oscar Piastri is not rolling around with 91 unleaded in his fuel tank. And you need to start thinking of yourself like that too. If you want to have a great training session, you need to be eating well. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks. You can't be eating shit. I'm just putting it out there. And you know what good food looks like. We want a good source of protein, carbs. We want some colour, some fruit and veg, minimal processed foods, drinking lots of water, hydrating with electrolytes, the basics. Eat like an adult. And if you are a kid, the kids that start eating like an adult first are the kids that develop and put on muscle and get stronger and all that sort of stuff. So, eat like an adult, eat properly. Don't go get your KFC for lunch. That'd be a goose. And then from there, just before your session, maybe like an hour or so before, get some extra carbs in. So on top of what you're normally going to eat, your main meals and all that sort of stuff, get some quick carbs in. Crumpets and honey, bowl of oats, banana and a muesli bar. It's a bit of a carb top up, which I always talk about. Get some carbs into your body so you're ready to go. If you're training in the morning if you are training in the morning, get some caffeine in. Get yourself hyped, ready to go. Make sure you're hydrated. You've got electrolytes in your water, and you're good to go. So, from there, pre-training, driving in, go on with the right mindset. Like, as I've talked about before, we choose what happens in our conscious brain. So if that mind chatter, the voice in your head's going, oh, I can't be fucked today. Oh, I'm tired. Oh, it's been a shit day. You're letting that voice take over, and it's not helping you. It's not helping you at all. And trust me, it's not. You have the ability to go, nah, I'm going to say, fuck, it's been a good day. Oh, I'm so keen for training. Even if you're not, and I get it, fuck, mate, when I was playing, I was never, well, no, I can't say that. So many days, can't be fucked. But if you can actually like convince yourself that you are keen, if you tell yourself, no, I'm so keen for training, I'm going to bring so much energy. How good is this going to be? Oh, so keen to see my mates. Oh, I'll get an opportunity to work towards the goals that I have. How good is this? All the hard work in the preseason that I've been putting in with Coxie and I've been training hard. Now I get to go to the nets and put in a massive session. How good is this? Just start telling yourself that. And if you tell yourself that, you are more likely to have a good session than if you let that voice inside your head go, no, I can't be fucked. I'm tired. This is shit. Fucking hell, going again. No, don't let it happen. Do not let that happen. As soon as you let it happen, you're fucked. You're gone. Shit session. I can almost guarantee it. So, we've planned. We're physically ready. Put the right stuff in our body. We're in a positive mindset. We're ready to attack the session. We rock up the training. Now we're here. We're at our training session. What do? First thing that I see, whether it's in the gym with my clients, whether it's at training sessions, at Frankston training, whatever it is, people who rock up with an intensity, who bring energy, have great sessions. The ones who take an hour to get going, they always go, yeah, session was okay. Yeah, that's right. Whereas those that come in, no matter what day they've had, bring intensity, bring energy, elite. In the gym, it's PBs, it's intensity with bowling, you're in the contest, whatever it is. There's nothing like just bringing intensity to a session, having an absolute crack and providing energy for the group. And if you like say, oh no, that's not me, bring energy, change it. We have the option as human beings to consciously control what we do, what we say, and how we think. So choose it. Choose to bring energy, choose to bring intensity. And a lot of that can start from a really good warm-up. If you just roll on the net, pick the ball up, maybe go for a slow jog, static stretches, your first 20, 30 minutes of the session is going to be pretty shit. I can guarantee. But if you go, do your own individual prep, do your own mobility, start with some dynamic mobility, open up your hips, upper back, lower back, hamstrings, hip flexors, adductors, get that loose. I feel like for me, just getting loose is probably the most important thing. Like, you can warm up into a session. For me, being tight, my hips are tight, back's tight sometimes, just getting loose and feeling free does $1 million. Once you've, raised the body temperature, you've got yourself loose, so do some things that are athletic. Do some running drills, and then the guys who are in my coaching, this is what I provide for them. I get them some running drills to do, some plyometrics to do, something to fire up their nervous system. If they have med balls, I can give them some med ball drills to do. Then it's from there into something specific, like your bowling drills, so you're ready to go. It's targeted preparation for what you want to get out of the session. And then I'm massive on, we need to be sprinting, running fast, doing something athletic at the end of the warm-ups. You need to be exposing yourself to some high-speed running. Because if you do like 3 or 4, 30, 40-meter sprints, you're going to be ready to bowl. You're going to be ready to bat, and you're going to be ready to field. So I think exposing yourself to high-speed running, not just from a acute warm-up point of view, from a chronic long-term athletic development point of view, where we're improving your performance by improving your speed, power, athleticism, and from an injury prevention point of view, so important. So important. Have a purposeful warm-up, finish with some sprints, and you're going to be ready to go. You're going to be absolutely buzzing, ready to go. From there, you're ready to go, you're in the nets, you've got to have a purpose. That comes from your planning, but now you've done your planning, Now you're ready to go. Are you training with a purpose? Are you actually giving a fuck? Oh, yeah, I want to get better at this. No. You need to have a purpose and train with some intensity once you're there. Then it's an opportunity to make training like a game. Yes, you're going to have your skill development focus sessions, which I recommend doing probably by yourself or throwdowns. But when you're in bat v ball scenarios, that's purely contest. That's purely making training like a game. And that whether that is setting fields, if you're a batter, asking for fields to be set, scenarios where it's all right, it's in the first 10 overs of the game. This is my field. I'm trying to nick him off, etc. Batters sort of keeping track of their score. Bowlers bowling in 6-ball blocks and actually understanding, trying to get in, get out of an over, setting up a batter across an over. Make this game-like. Get in the contest. Get in the contest. Make this competitive. Get people out, celebrate it. It's a great opportunity for you to go through your mental routines. Cue words that you use, pre-ball routines that bring you back to the present moment and allow you to execute your skills. It's very, very hard to just go out round one and start working through your pre-ball routine. Very, very hard. But if you're doing it from August, do it for 2 months, you get out into the game, piece of piss. Exactly like practicing a new variation of ball. It's exactly like practicing a new batting shot. Your pre-ball routine is golden. Batting, bowling, and fielding. Something that's consistent and that brings you back to the present moment to allow you to just focus on what matters most, which is probably going to be the ball, and allowing you to get into a mental place where you're just reacting, trusting your gut, playing on instinct, not overthinking, not overanalyzing. That's where we turn the shit, as I've talked about in different podcasts as well, if you want to go back. That How to Be a Mentally Strong Cricketer, one of my favourite podcasts I've done. So you're in a contest, you're training hard. One thing that to keep your performance up, to stay away from fatigue, is fueling in session and hydration. Now, obviously, we're playing cricket in the summer. It's going to be hot. You're going to sweat. Indoor centres are hot and sweaty. You're going to make sure you're having water frequently. Have a water as your bowling marker run up. Have it there ready to go. So you're topping up. One thing that too, you have his electrolytes in there as well. And why not? If you're training for 2 hours, 3 hours, you're going to need to have some fuel as well. Whether it's having a bag of lollies in your cricket bag, whether it's having some Gatorade, that's full sugar, some Powerade, full sugar. This is where you're going to have to keep on topping up your energy levels to bring the intensity. Don't worry about, I used to worry about, no one else is, fueling. Well, no one else is refueling. So, yeah, I feel a bit self-conscious for doing that. Be someone different. Be better. If we know this is going to help your performance, just do it. No one gives a fuck. No one cares what you're doing. Everyone just cares about themselves. So, if you know that you feel yourself losing energy and getting tired towards the back end of sessions, that's not because you're unfit, it's because you're underfueled. It's not because you're unfit, it's because you're underfueled. I promise you that. Cricket training and net sessions aren't that physically demanding. We will do harder running sessions together. We will do harder, training blocks. It's not because you're not fit enough to not handle that. It is pretty much because you're just underfueled and you need some energy. So, hydrate, bring some energy. Simple as that. Fast releasing carbs. A Gatorade is perfect to top up. Then when you're in a session, don't be that player that goes, oh no, the coaches aren't coaching me. Oh, I wish the coaches coach me more. Be your own coach. Self-coach. Every ball is a feedback loop. It's an opportunity for you to reflect and analyze and then do something a little bit better. So do that. Don't just do the same thing over and over and over again and expect different results. You know your game better than anyone else. Review, analyze, reflect each ball, and don't waste a ball. Don't waste an opportunity, whether it's batting, bowling, or fielding, to get better. Every ball is an opportunity for you to get better. Think of it like that. think about how can you excrete the most development? How can you get better from the most out of every single ball? Have that mindset. Like, could have you gotten better from that ball in a different way? Everything's about getting better as fast as possible. Don't waste the ball. From there, session's done. You've nailed it. The things you do post-session then loop and set you up for the start of your next session. So it goes up in a loop to the start of the next one. So, underneath your planning, reflect and review. What went well? What didn't? What was your mindset? What were you thinking in this situation? Okay, you set this field to this batter, but he seemed like he was playing this shot really easily. Okay, I tried bowling this slow ball with this cue. I kept dragging it down. Maybe I should think about doing this cue instead. Whenever I, come down the wicket and played, a lofted on drive against spin, I tend to fall over a little bit. All right, next time I'm going to try and focus and get my head towards mid-on instead of letting it go to mid-off. Write down whatever happened. You tell me what happened. That's something that's been elite from the clients I've worked with. We started up these training journals and they've been elite on sending them to me. And now I know what's going on in their sessions. It's actually so good seeing people actually reflect and review their sessions. Something I never did. I didn't do this. I was not perfect as a player. I was shit. I just relied on my talent. And I don't want, my clients to rely on their talent. I want them to have great systems that just produces performance and produces development rather than just hoping to get better. So reflect and review. Nutrition, you're going to need to get some protein in. You're going to need to refuel with carbs. And you're going to need to make sure that you're having good, clean, whole foods and just tick off the day. As I said before, you've eaten fantastic before the session because you know that you have training. You've eaten fantastic during the session because you know you need fuel for energy. You're going to eat fantastic afterwards too because that's going to kickstart your recovery. From there, whether it's, I think number one most important thing is just nailing your sleep. Get to bed. I know if you're training at night, it sucks. Things like whether it's, trying to stay off your phone, trying to calm down, listen to some calming music, whether it's, or things like supplementing with some L-theanine or magnesium, something to help you sleep better. Read a book, something to bring yourself down into a relaxed state. That fight or flight nervous system, that room we're hyped up, we're amped up. We want to get out of that from training, which is we need to be amped up at training, but we need to then in the way home in the car, put on some relaxing music. Don't be putting on doof, doof, doof and get yourself hyped up for the way home. Get yourself calmed down in a rest and digest state so you can sleep. So that's the most important. I know there's some cricket clubs in Melbourne that are having ridiculous training sessions. I'm going to call some out. St Kilda, the last few years, have been training at 9 to 11 p.m. What the fuck are you doing? That's disgraceful for adults. Disgraceful. So late. Fucking Fitzroy Doncaster are finishing at 10:30, 11 o'clock this year as well. Disgraceful. These people have jobs to get up early for the next day. I think that's absolutely criminal. And I'm sure there's more out there that are disgraceful. Whereas Frankston, club that I am aligned with, we're training 5:30 to 7:30. Fucking heaven. Heaven. Great for people's sleep and recovery. And we're setting up a good elite program there. So, and then from there, I've got this one thing written down is identity management. You are not your training session. You are not a cricketer. You're a person who happens to play cricket. And this fits in perfectly. It's come to mind because we would have seen Scotty Scheffler, who won the British Open in golf. And obviously, really important part of his life. You'd think it's the most important part, playing majors, because I know for you, cricket's probably the most important thing for you over anything, potentially. Hopefully not, but potentially. And you play a bad game against in a park game, and it ruins your week. Scotty Scheffler, playing on the world stage, ranks golf third or fourth most important thing in his life. Plays a bad around, that's okay. Family still loves me, doesn't really mind. Wins British Open, it's cool for a couple of hours, but still his family and that. So the levelness that he talked about and not being tied to performance in training in games is the most important thing to keep you consistent, because that can't get too up, can't get too down. Like, just see cricket as something that's cool that you do and you're passionate about getting better. But the best thing for it is to not care about it as much and just to slightly give it less of a fuck and just be level. Have a good training session. Awesome. How good's that? Reflect, review, bang, go again. Have a bad training session. Fuck. Oh, well. Reflect, review, get better. The next one. Have a bad game. Oh, well. Sucks, but that's right. I know this next week. The more consistent you can be with that, the better. The less you can ride the wave, the better, and be a bit more like Scotty Scheffler. If you haven't seen it, his press conference, have a Google, YouTube it. It's truly elite. I think like Cricket Mentoring shared it. I'm so all for it because, yeah, I used to get so down the dumps after a bad game of cricket or a bad training session, and it would suck. But the more we can detach our identity from our sport, the better. Trust me, you will play better cricket because you just go out there and you'll play with freedom instead of being restricted and worried about, oh, if I go out, or, oh, no, I can't afford a ball of wide. You'll be so much freer. And then your skills will be able to be on showcase. Like, that's the difference between the best players of the world. A lot of players in the nets, exact same style of player, exact same skill set. In the middle, though, that's where the mindset stuff comes in. And that's why we need to train it throughout pre-season as well. Detach your identity from cricket right now. Make it something cool that you love, and it's awesome that you're passionate about it, but it cannot dictate how you feel on a day-to-day basis. Cool. Do all these things, you will have a great training session. Let me know if I missed anything in the comments. And once again, if you are interested in joining my coaching, I've got a spot left for someone who wants to join the movement and train like a pro and get the most out of themselves. So click the link down below, first in, best dressed, and I'll see you guys next week on the show. And that's a wrap for today's show. Thanks for watching, guys. I know you haven't subscribed yet, so please make sure you do right now. Leave a review and let me know any feedback or any questions that you have from this previous episode. If you are interested in becoming the best cricketer that you've ever been and getting coaching from me, I have all my links down below in the description for either my in-person and based in Melbourne or my online coaching where you can be anywhere around the world. Thanks, guys. Feel free to share with a friend, and thanks for tuning in. Win the day.